Hi everyone, welcome to the Knacklers workshop, and as you would have seen from the video description, the plan is just to give you a bit of a workshop tour. So just to put things in the context, I share my workshop with some joiners, my good friends, and they've all the joinery action happens down there. I don't know whether you can see the floor. The building is an old munitions munitions store. So to avoid sparks, all the cobbled floor is actually made of wood. So it's got a nice bit of history in here. So as I say, I'll walk upstairs. We're here. We've got some doors that open here, so then I can lift the machinery up. We got a forklift can squeeze in and lift stuff up for me. So just we'll have a walk around. We'll start at the 𝗲𝗡𝗔𝗡𝗥. So we've got a 𝗲𝗡𝗔𝗡𝗥 ML7. It's a tri-lever. It's the long bed version. So I've had this a few years now. It's a pretty good machine. I've got quite a lot of accessories: taper turning, attachment, dividing head. Yeah, so it's pretty good. I've got to change the belts on the tri-lever mechanism because they're slipping. But Mr. 𝗪𝗥𝗏𝗏𝗏's got a set of videos on how to do that, so that's great news. So let's have a bit of a walk over. So we've got one of my Unimax, and this is sort of where I keep most of the Unimax stuff. So I've got that one. That was subject to a restoration set of videos. We've got the toolbox underneath here, so I keep all my accessories in there for the Unimat. And down there in the box we got another Unimat which I sometimes use. So all these can be seen in various playlists of what I've got up to there. So we've got two other offices, or two offices. So we've got this one. The theory is it's a clean room, and this one was going to be sort of a dirty room, I suppose one would call it, for grinding. So have a quick look in there. It's never, to be honest, it's quite a dumping ground really. But hopefully we'll try and make some progress on getting this a bit more organised. A lot of the bags underneath have various projects in. There's Unimat 4, a Unimat, another sort of SL type machine. We've got some of the bike type stuff that I do in here. Over back there we've got all sort of DTIs and such like, and micrometers are all in the little toolmaker's cabinet, and a bit of a library there of bits and bobs. Yep. So it's amazing that keeps it a whole lot warmer in the winter months. So we've got a blackboard here, and generally I try and write the order of operation and any key measurements up there when I'm turning, so it's a good reference point. Got a bit of wall art, a giant micrometer courtesy of Ian Matthews. So what is dirty room is effectively a storeroom. So I've got various. I'm not going to go through all of these, but most of my tools are in there. You know, screwdrivers, pliers, various hammers and such like. And all the bins, I've got sort of hand tools, things associated with cycling, stub bar, or I think you call it all thread in the US, plastic stuff, delve in mild steel, aluminium, some brass and such like. And their covers here. So we've got various oils, cutting fluids and such like. I'm not sure, there's a Dremel there and ultrasonic cleaner, just in various containers. Screws, sort of fixings really, this one. Down below we've got paints and such like, and then on the bottom we've got different sort of, we've got some vapor rust, methylated spirits and some oil. So I keep everything in here. I tend to try and keep the door shut all the time to here, to try and avoid, minimise the fire risk, and I tend to keep the main door in here. So at some time the surface grinder and the decal tool and cutter grinder, I come in here, but I've got to fix them up first. So yeah, it's a dirty room. So here we've got the 𝐒𝐄𝐑𝗥-𝗕. There's a playlist with this, so I'm currently restoring this. We're getting quite close to running, so it's pretty good. We've got it on the base, and that's pretty good, so I will be doing that. Now underneath these covers, and these covers are old shower curtains, and I tend to drape them over all the machines. It seems to help stop the rusting a bit. It's not perfect, but yeah, it does. So it's a bit of a graveyard here. So under there we've got the surface grinder that needs to be, I've done a few bits on it, but it's sort of taken a bit of a back seat. And there's a couple of old donor 𝗂𝗄𝗥-𝗕s. One's actually very serviceable, the other one is truly for spare parts. So yeah, that's really what's there. I think there's a motor there, and we've also got down there a part for a craftsman lathe. I'm not sure how I inherited that. So in here, just got bits of timber. Generally, I just go and ask the guys downstairs. And in here we've got mostly mild steel and that sort of stuff, bigger material that can't fit in the bins. So we've got a wood workbench here, which came sort of with the space. So I use that. It's quite good. I could do painting and stuff on there. I don't do really carpentry on there. So we've got the main workbench, which is good. I like having it in the middle rather than butted up against the wall, because it does mean I can walk round stuff when I'm working, and it does make it a whole lot easier when you're working on something. So we've got the big record vise, and then we've got the small vise which I can put in there if I'm doing something. That's subject to a weekend workshop tip, so you can have a look at that if you want to give you a bit of a clue about the logic of that and how that one came about. So down under the bench, down on the bottom here, I've got various vices which I use on the milling machine or the pedestal drilling machine. So the big pedestal drilling machine belongs to the joiners, and they just let me use that. So we've got over here, oh yeah, and we've also, up on the top here we got the decal tool and cutter grinder, so that's waiting to be restored. We've got the IME watchmaker's lathe, that's just covered up. Down on the bottom here we've got a Unimat SL that's halfway through being restored. I do buy some old tired ones and fix them up and sell them, so it just helps pay for the workshop, and I actually really enjoy doing it, trying to take one that's tired and then give it a bit of lease of life to let someone else enjoy it. If we walk around the bench a bit more, so we've got another toolmaker's cabinet, so that's got things for the decal, so all the collets and such like in there. So So yeah, so that'd be a matching pair for the decor. These two project boxes, there's a 𝗔𝗔𝗜𝗄𝐴 SL in each of those, so that's 3 we've got halfway through restoring. Those two are very close to being done. And what I'm going to do is make some, so the wooden box that fits the SL in, going to start to, I think I was sold it as a genuine one, I'm not 100% sure it is, but that gives me a rough dimensions. So I'm going to start to make a few of those with the 𝐒𝐄𝐑𝐥 star. So then when these 𝗔𝗔𝗜𝗄𝐴 SLs go out, they will be in a box. So it'll just be hopefully a nice complete kit. What else have we got here? On the top we've got an old small compressor that I've yet to get going. We've got some electric down in this area here. There's old electric motors for various things, and we've got a couple of vices here that are ready to be restored. The thing with the red tape on, that's a very small surface table or surface plate, which I'm going to use to practice scraping on. I'm going to hand scrape that one at some time. So that's in readiness. So let's have a look around at some of the machine tools. So over in this corner of the workshop, my friend owns a bicycle shop, or he owns a chain of them, and he quite often gives me old bikes and bike components, and I just strip them down into their similar metals, so aluminium, steel or whatever, and we've got a scrap merchant fairly close to us, so I just recycle that, and the little bit of cash that generates helps maintain the workshop. So it's not cost effective time wise, but I'm getting all the materials for nothing, so it's pretty good. So we've got the Kennedy Hexacut. So it's although a small little machine, it beavers away, and it really does work well. So I generally do fairly small stuff in here, so it's good. If I need anything big cut, one of the chaps who owns the workshop, he's got a big saw at home, and he would just do that for me. So we got some buckets down below with pulleys and such like. So on this one, what we've got is my sensitive drilling machine and the smaller pedestal. Well, smaller, drilling machine, and then below down here we got a couple of grinders, workbench grinders. Now these I can move around. They can either fit on the carpentry bench or on this Black & Decker workmate. And there's in the weekend workshop tips, there's a video on that called space saving ideas. So and it really works well. I'm very pleased with that. So this machine, I've yet to get an electric motor for it, so that's on my shopping list. So on here we've got the Adept number 2 shaping machine. Now this is again another one subject to the restoration project or process. There's a playlist on that. So that's sort of ready to continue that one. I've got to work out a stand for it. This one's a bit wobbly, so I'm either going to try and brace this one or just make a new one. But that should be quite a fun project, and I'm quite keen to get that one done and out of the way. And then we've got the timbrel, capstan lathe. So this was a bit of, I don't know, off the spur purchase. I don't really have a need for it, but it was just a lovely machine, and I got it at a good price. So, so the main goal with this one is to just learn how to use it, and also using all the other machines, just build a really nice set of accessories for it. Then at some time, when I sell it, I'll just, you know, the new owner, I have a bit of, you know, have a complete set of accessories to be able to make the most of it. So yeah, quite a fun machine, really. But I have also actually come up with a little project for something I want to do for the other channel on this. So then it'll be a good practical demonstration and a good learning exercise for me to try and learn how to set it up, you know. One of the bikes, the 𝗞𝗡𝗥𝗦, so we've got quite a few videos on this one. That's still work in progress that we're messing around with. Just having a bit of fun with it, and yeah, I've really enjoyed doing that one. So what we got here, we've got the 𝗪𝗥𝗦𝗞𝗘𝗥, so this is a Mark II, and it's the one with the longer bed and the longer column. So it's quite a nice milling machine. The big problem I have with it is, although we've got it on a wooden bench, it's pretty unstable, and so my goal really is to do some work to try and stabilise this. I think I will just go for some sort of steel bench, because yeah, it is challenging with it. So I want to do that sort of in the coming, I don't know, 6 to 12 months, just to try and improve on that. And then we've got the BCA jig borer. This is a smashing little machine, and I do enjoy using it. It's currently on the bench, which is part of the tool, part of the surface grinder. So again, I need a bench for that. And I'm thinking of using the similar one or the same one that I've got the 𝐒𝐄𝐑𝐥 star on. I think that will be sturdy enough to cope with this. In reality, it doesn't throw itself all over the show. It's quite stable, I suppose the right word is, and I think you're only using small components on there, so it's pretty good. Yeah, just various chucks and associated with that. To be honest, at the moment down here, this sort of an area where I'm putting both things for the 𝗪𝗥𝗦𝗞𝗘𝗥 and the BCA. At some time, I really would like to disassemble all this and really clean it up, but you know, I'm trying to get most of my machines running before I start taking more apart, and I'm getting a whole lot closer to it. One of the other things, I don't know whether you can see back here, we've got the cooling tank for the 𝗪𝗔𝗜𝗔𝗡. Now with you can see I've put this on a tray. I've got this on a tray. The capstan lathes on a tray. The hexacut is. So what I've been doing is sort of bearing in mind, trying to put things and position things so then I can have coolant. And when you know, being in a smaller sort of shop here, to have a coolant system for all of these machines, the downside is that I don't use them. Sometimes they don't get used for months. So what I'm going to do is actually have the tank, which I can then move around, so get it on some wheels and have a system You can see down here, I think I'm going to change it, but it's on a magnetic base, or the pipework. So really I can just slide it round, and I can just put it here and use it on here, or on the 𝗪𝗪𝗡𝗖, or the capstan lathe, or the hex cut, and maybe the shaper, I don't know. But what the goal is just to have one tank that I can move to the machine, the various machines. So then basically it's getting used most of the time. I only have to then maintain one tank rather than have lots of them. So, you know, my big goal is to minimise everything that I've got in the workshop, so I can just have one really good thing. So another example is, so I've got the big lamp here, so that's just there, so this can point to all these machines. But rather than have many lamps, because I'm the only one working in here, I've got that, so I can pull that out and I can plug it in here. So then I've got that same lamp. I'm not going to be doing two things at once. And what I'm going to do is make some brackets to fit it on for these two machines. So again, I can use that one lamp. Now whether it remains that one lamp, I don't know. But what the goal is to have fewer components, but things that can be shared across all the machines, thus allow me to get better, you know, instead of, sorry, what I'm trying to say is I could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lamps at 50 quid each, say, or I could have one very good lamp for 200 quid that I move around to the various places. Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy example of a lamp, but that's what I'm trying to do. And likewise with the coolant, you know, I only have to change the coolant every so often on one machine, rather than have stuff that's going off and that's floating around, you know, on many machines. So it's all about just trying to rationalise now. Now that I've got the workshop pretty much how I want it, it's that rationalisation process. This is probably the only real exception, because it's a woodworking machine. So, but the rest of it, the goal is to do a big rationalisation process, and similar with tools, you know. So I've been conscious of the fact that 𝗪𝗡𝗜𝗄𝗔𝗡𝗥 on the 𝗪𝗢𝗥𝗦, likewise on the 𝗪𝗙𝗔𝗡𝗥. What we've got is the same collets system on both. So again, instead of having to have many, what I can do is spend more money on decent collets which will work on two machines. So that's the logic of what the next sort of 6 to 12 months in this workshop is, just to try and rationalise everything. And it's a bit like the bench grinders. You know, they're great, they serve the purpose, but in reality, if you've been watching this series, what we've now got is the ability to a grinder that works off that machine. So do I need to maintain these things and keep these? I don't think I do, you know. So again, they can go, I've got some more space, less worry, and I can just have a better selection of grinding wheels set up over here on one machine. Right, so yeah. So I think what we will see over the next 6 to 12 months is the workshop shrinking somewhat, as I start to rationalise everything that's in here. So that's just a very small look around the workshop. I think I'll probably do this another one round about Christmas time. So then that starts to give, you know, a bit of a progress on have I made any progress, and you know, and just you know, am I walking the walk, not just talking the talk? Yeah. Okay, so many thanks for tuning in, and as always, stay happy, strong and healthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheerio.